Dear student, as we have already studied the general characters of phylum Chordata along with the differences between non-chordate and chordate. We have also studied the salient features of the group Protochordate. Hope you understand it very well. Now today we will see the salient features of subphylum with two examples each. As we have studied the salient features of Protochordata, in which we have studied that Protochordata, it is the group of primitive chordate, which includes three subphyla: Hemichordata, Urochordata, and Cephalochordata. So, in this topic, we will see the different characters of these three subphylum sequentially. So, first of all, we will see these three subphyla from the group Protochordata. The first phylum is Hemichordata, and the representative examples of Hemichordata are Balanoglossus and Rhabdopleura. The representative examples of Urochordata is Herdmania and Salpa, while the representative examples of Cephalochordata are Branchiostoma or Amphioxus and Ursimetron. So these are the three subphylum belongs from this group Protochordata, that is primitive chordate or the earlier chordate. We show the basic fundamental characters of chordate. These three are the subphylums of Protochordata. The number first subphylum is somewhat ambiguous, means it is somewhat doubtful that whether it possesses the notochord or not. So there is doubt in the zoologist about the presence of notochord in Hemichordata. That's why nowadays these Hemichordata has to be placed in a separate phylum in between non-chordate and chordate. That is, after the last phylum of non-chordate, that is Echinodermata, and before the start of chordate, because it has somewhat doubtful characters and it shows the affinity with the non-chordate. So, due to this, it is also considered as a connecting link between non-chordate and chordate. So, today we will see the basic characters or the salient features of this first subphylum, that is Hemichordate. Hemichordata is a Greek word. Hemi means half and chordi means the chord. So it is having the half chord, and these individuals are also called as adelochordates and commonly known as tongueworm. These individuals are solitary, they are colonial, means they are lives individually or just isolated, as well as they are also lives in a group or the gregarious form, and most of the individuals are lives in tubes, and they are exclusively marine. As I have already told you about the characters in protochordate, that all the protochordates are marine water animals. Then about the body of this animal, the body of this animal is a soft, fragile, that is delicate, vermiform, and divisible into three regions. Anterior region of the body is called as a proboscis, middle region is called as a collar, and posterior region is called as a trunk, and the tail is absent in this individual. So this vermiform body means just like that of the worm. Then body wall of this individual with a single layer epidermis. It is having single layer epidermis. About the body cavity, that is a coelom, which is enterocoelous, divisible into again three parts. Anterior is called as a protocoel, middle is called as a mesocoel, and posterior is called as a metacoel. So this is about the body cavity. Then the about these kinds of notochord, the buccal diverticulum, which is earlier considered as a notochord, which present in proboscis, that is anterior part. Anterior part of the body possesses the buccal diverticulum, and it was regarded as a notochord, but later on it has to be confirmed it is instead of the notochord it is buccal diverticulum, and that's why the individual is to be kept in separate phyla. Digestive tract of this individual are having the this U-shaped tube, and this digestive system is a complete, that is this straight or U shape starting from mouth and ends with anus. About the respiration, it is having the gill slits, but in some cases the gill slits are also absent, and when present are paired and one to numerous. In case of circulation, circulatory system is a simple and well developed. It is of closed type, that is blood, which is circulatory fluid, flows through the closed tubes or the closed vessels, and is usually with a contractile heart vesicle and two longitudinal vessels, one dorsal and one ventral, interconnected by a lateral vessel and sinuses. About the excretion, it is having a single glomerulus situated in the proboscis, that is anterior part of the body, which generally remove the nitrogenous waste. The nervous system of this individual is of primitive type, comprising mainly of an intraepidermal nerve plexus. In case of reproduction, mostly these individuals are having sexual reproduction, that is production of gamete. The male and female respectively produces the male and female gamete. Sexes are separate or united, and gonads one to several pairs. Development may be direct or indirect. If the development is indirect, then it possesses the intermediate form, which is called as the larval form, and there is a very peculiar larva in hemichordate, and the name of the larva is Tornaria. So this larva, which is having the striking resemblance or similarities with the larva of echinoderms. The larva of echinoderm, there are too many larvae in echinoderms, but basically this Tornaria, which shows the similarities with the this Bipinnaria larva as well as Auricularia larva. It is having the most significant similarities with the Bipinnaria larva of Asterias, that is starfish, while some individuals are showing direct development without the larval forms. This subphylum is having 100 species. So this is about the salient features of subphylum Hemichordata. Now, along with the salient features, we will see the classification of subphylum Hemichordata. The subphylum Hemichordata is broadly classified into four major subclasses. The number first class is Enteropneusta, that is gut-breathed. These individuals are commonly known as acorn or tongueworm. They are solitary, burrowing, large worm-like body, gill slits numerous and pairs. Their body is divisible into three regions: proboscis, collar, and trunk. The alimentary canal of this individual is of straight type, and it is having the mouth and anus to the opposite end. Gill slits in these individuals are numerous pairs with U-shaped structure. Sexes into these individuals are separate, gonads are numerous, and development with or without Tornaria larva. This class Entropneusta include 3 families and 15 genera along with the 70 species. And the representative example of Entropneusta are Balanoglossus and Saccoglossus. So this is the first class of Hemichordata. The second class is Pterobranchia. The P is silent here. Pterobranchia. They are commonly known as the feather gills. These individuals are sedentary, solitary, or colonial. They are tuberculous marine animal, proboscis with ciliated tentacles to produce the ciliary feeding current of water. So just to take the food material. Then body of this individual is a small and compact. Alimentary canal is U-shaped with a dorsal anus situated near the mouth at same end. So here is a difference, that is mouth and anus is situated at the same end, while in Entropneusta mouth and anus are present as opposite end. The body of this Pterobranchia is having the gill slits, one pair or even absent, and these gill slits are never U-shaped. While in case of Entropneusta, these gill slits are U-shaped structure. So these are the somewhat distinguishing characters between Entropneusta as well as Pterobranchia. Then sexes into these individuals are separate or united. The development is direct and asexual reproduction by budding in some individual. And the examples are Rhabdopleura and Cephalodiscus. So this is the second class, Pterobranchia. Then we will see the third class, that is Planktospheroidea. The Planktospheroideans are having the transparent body. They are having the round and specialized Tornaria larva possessing extensively branched ciliary band. And the alimentary canal in this individual is L-shaped. Planktosphaera pelagica is a representative of this class. This form is supposed to be specialized Tornaria larva of some unknown hemichordate. So this is Planktospheroidea. The fourth major class is Graptolita, and all the individuals belong from this Graptolita are extinct. The fossils graptolites, example Dendrograptus, were abundant in Ordovician and Silurian period. So these are the period in geological time scale. They are often considered as an extinct colonial class of hemichordate. Their tubular chitinous skeleton and colonial habits show as affinity with Rhabdopleura. So this is about the fourth class, Graptolita, which is extinct one. Then we will see the representative example. Here are two representative examples of the subphylum Hemichordata. Number first is Balanoglossus and the second one is Rhabdopleura. This is the structure of Balanoglossus, vermiform structure just like that of the worm, body divisible into three regions: proboscis, collar and larger or longer part which is called as a trunk, and this trunk bearing the branchiogenital region as well as hepatic region, and posteriorly there is a anus. It is having the cylindrical elongated body which is with a bilateral symmetry and the length which varies from 2 centimeter to 2.5 meter. So this is about the Balanoglossus. The second example is Rhabdopleura, which is living into the groups or the colony as a solitary form, and it bearing these tentacles at the anterior sides at the proboscis. So they are true colonial form attached to stones, corals and sessile marine animals. Anus lies close to mouth and gill clefts and glomerulus is lacking. So these are the characters of this Rhabdopleura and Balanoglossus. So these are the two representative examples of subphylum Hemichordata. So this is about the salient features of the first subphylum Hemichordata from the group Protochordata. Just go through the all these characters, and if you don't understand any character or any word, please comment it into the comment box. So I will try to solve all your questions and query, and just observe the whole lecture. Thank you.